This week, we review the Japanese classic Battle Royale, who was directed by...
It's actually directed by Kinji Fukasaku. Came out in 2000. Won all kinds of awards, including Best Picture in the Japanese Academy Awards. James, what's the plot, man?
So, well, this is actually a little bit of a futuristic movie. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit realistic, you're not going to find it here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what it's basically about. It's about the Japanese government gets tired of the way that teenage kids are acting.
Right, because they've been rebelling, and not going to school. And
it's the future. There's a lot of unemployment. There's
almost sounds like
a bunch of stuff going on.
From the synopsis, it sounds it's almost like Akira, but with no animation.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, so what the adults do is they put together what is referred to as a battle royale act.
Okay.
And they take selected classes, and they
all ninth grade, right?
No, any grade. Remember the girl in the beginning? She was not ninth grade.
Okay, yeah, she was younger.
She was in a 4th grade class. So they take any class randomly if they act up or anything, and then they pitch them on an island and put them in a battle royale to the death, and the winner gets to leave. That's basically the whole synopsis of this movie. Now,
like
Ryan
No Escape, but with school children.
Yeah. Now, what Ryan was saying is this movie actually has gotten a lot of awards.
Yeah, many awards.
Surprising thing is that IMDb, we bash IMDb a lot.
Sure.
In this show. But this one they actually have right. So there are movies that they do get right.
Oh, yeah.
This one has a 7.8 rating on IMDb.
Yeah. And
really?
That's because it's generally accepted by not only critics, but the public, too.
Exactly.
Even though, a lot of, especially American audiences, sort of shy away from all of the, the subtitled Japanese movies and things like that.
I mean, people are afraid to read movies. So I don't understand why.
Well, one of the things I kept hearing was vice versa. People saying that Hunger Games is a ripoff of this, and this is a ripoff of Hunger Games. And
this was made first. I'm not going to get into the whole controversy on whether the chick actually ripped it off or not. She claims that she never heard anything about it before she wrote her script.
I believe that because this movie is a little bit of an underground movie.
It was underground, but it became such a cult hit in America,
kind of like Boondock Saints.
kind of like Boondock Saints, but even from Japan came over here and became kind of a cult classic, amongst, maybe smaller crowds and things like that.
Well, Quentin Tarantino has obviously seen this movie.
Sure, absolutely.
I've heard that this
because
is based,
he took the chick from her.
I mean, I'm not. This is loosely based off of like a Greek mythology.
Oh, is that
I read that somewhere that it's based off of some mythology that somehow. Because I've heard how Battle Royale and Hunger Games both have the same kind of ethos around them.
Yeah. There's a lot of similarities. So, I mean, if it's based off of something like that, then I can cut the woman who made Hunger Games a lot of slack.
To just take this and say they're all just a ripoff of Lord of the Flies.
Sure, I mean,
if you really want
Lord of the Flies meets Running Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You could totally
meets
go that
No
far.
Escape.
Right.
Yeah, meets No Escape. But the thing I want to point out about this movie is why I like this movie so much is because of the fact that it's got everything. It's got futuristic.
Yeah.
It's got love story.
Sure.
It's got comedy. It's got action. It's got drama. It's got everything wrapped into the story. I understand that a lot of you people may be watching this movie and be like, dear God, there's a lot of blood and gore. Honestly, not as much as you would expect.
Sure.
No, it's a little slow, though, at parts. It's not exactly the world's...
because what I'm saying is that they're building up plot, they're building up drama, they're trying to get you to like the characters.
See, I'll kind of agree. It's kind of an odd pacing.
Yeah,
sort of.
I didn't love... None of the characters I loved. There was nobody I wanted to grab hold of and go, I want this person to survive.
I almost think that kind of helped the plot in general because you didn't find yourself sort of predicting, oh, it's going to be this person, because you know that this is the protagonist, this is the antagonist. It's kind of pick your guy, sort of Reservoir Dogs. You Mr. Pink, you Mr. White kind of thing.
True.
This one, it's sort of I like, they don't
want to draw you to somebody.
Right, exactly. They don't want to. I don't think they wanted to really lay any kind of advantage on any one of the kids. It started out with 40 of them, and they really kind of followed 42. Not when they left the building; it was 40. But they seem to want to kind of keep everybody on sort of an even playing field.
Which is kind of what I like, and that's one of the tags in this movie. The big tag is could you kill your best friend?
Right, and you know what?
That's really what the point of what they're trying to draw into this movie. And if you actually pay attention to a lot of the way that they develop and introduce you to so many different people, is because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to give you a little bit of a backstory without making the movie like 5 hours long.
Yeah, absolutely.
To kind of show like, yeah, these people all knew each other.
Right.
And they went to the same school. They
Not only
grew
went
up
to the
together.
same school, they're in the same class. These are people that are spending, upwards of, 5, 6, 7 hours a day together, clicking up in their own little things. And one of my favorite things about this movie was basically they showed the adolescence of the people that was going on, because obviously, look, the movie's about people who are trying to kill each other. Every last person to survive wins the game. But they really came across with the adolescence of like, look, these are 14-year-old kids. These are ninth graders.
Like what I'm trying to get laid.
You're a freshman in high school. Imagine being a freshman in high school and being put in that situation.
Yeah.
I thought they kind of. They sort of took a bunch of different avenues with it, like people trying to be cool, and then you had like sort of the really clicky chicks, that went off in their own little direction, tried to manipulate people. There was a bunch of different angles that it took.
I was actually surprised by the number of suicides in this movie.
Yeah,
which is something that would never happen in an American movie.
Oh, no way, no way.
I do have to say though, in the beginning, I loved we watched what was it? What version of this movie was it?
We actually watched the director's cut, so there was a lot
extended
of
version,
extended scenes. And honestly,
I love the opening, the warning of it, and the Japanese warning.
Well, the thing I'm going to actually point out about audience viewers who are watching this and trying to decide if they're going to watch this movie is don't even bother getting the director's.
No, the original was good.
They just actually
basically the director's cut is kind of just random little interstitials that they sort of throw in as backstory, or as maybe just a train of thought that somebody's going through, or a daydream, or a dream itself.
Or take away,
which is weird for a director's cut, because most director's cut add action or some sort of storyline that's coherent.
Yeah,
this one it really does seem to add nothing but backstory.
Right, art film kind of content. Yeah.
Now, one of the great things about this movie is that they actually got one of my favorite actors, Japanese actors.
Oh, yeah.
Takashi Kitano. Now...
The Zatoichi?
Yeah, that's Zatoichi.
Yeah.
Great.
The blind swordsman.
Great actor. The blind swordsman. If you guys actually watch this, he's actually the main protagonist.
Sure.
In this movie. And check out some of those as well, is what I would suggest. I like him in this movie. He did a fantastic job. Yeah,
definitely. Because he brought a lot of legitimacy to the whole thing.
My only thing about calling him the protagonist, it seemed like he didn't want to be there either. He was forced to, because I didn't get any love this guy, hate this guy.
Well, I think it might have. What were you going to say?
The point I'm going to bring up here is also audience members out there. There's a battle royale too.
Yeah.
Don't bother. honestly, don't bother. This movie is like a 7.8. IMDb rates the Battle Royale 2 at like a 4.
Well, look, bottom line,
don't do it. But the reason why I'm bringing that up for this is because in Battle Royale 2, it shows his relationship at home.
Okay.
And he's got this daughter who absolutely despises him.
Okay, yeah.
She's like brutal. Remember, I pointed out when we're watching this, and I said,
she was on the phone.
He got the phone call. That's kind of what his mindset is, and they show that a lot more in Battle Royale too. They don't bring that up in this one.
I just think that this one is definitely something that can stand alone. It's not something that they ever required a sequel. I'm sure, Japanese Academy, I'm sure, is a lot like the American Academy. Hey, this movie made a lot of money for this art in this country. Let's do another one.
I hope they're not as pretentious as the American Academy
I don't think
are.
so. They have a lot less rules than we do. You can tell that just by turn on the, like any kind of Japanese television, and you'll.
But I haven't been blown away by very many.
No, neither have I.
Except for this one, really. Honestly, as far as the live actions go.
Yeah. Now, did you guys have any, like, one of my favorites, one of the things I noticed I really thought was funny, with two things that really stood out was the plastic floor in the main building. Yeah. Like, the floor was plastic lined.
Yeah, like an American Psycho kind of. I just have the whole room lined with plastic because people are going to die in this room.
Why am I walking on plastic?
Right.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden somebody pulls out a gun and you're dead.
Right. And I love how what was his character's name? The Zatsuichi.
He actually went by Kitano Sensei.
Kitano.
Oh, right, Quintana.
But actually, his name supposedly in the movie is Bito Takashi. But everybody calls him
Quintana. Okay.
Kitano Sensei, which is actually his real name. And that's what I always thought was, that's kind of funny. Because they never really call him Bito Takashi.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, that's really funny. Anyway, just random fact. Anyway, go on.
Now I forgot what I was saying. Thank you for your random fact. Hope you guys enjoyed that random fact.
You're welcome, people. Anyway, go on.
Okay, completely lost my train of thought. Okay, one thing I really liked about this was really the little bits of comedy that were sprinkled out, like the plastic thing, the instructional video.
Oh yeah,
might be one of the funniest things I've ever seen in foreign film. That was just so tongue in cheek, and he was so into watching that video, man.
I know. I love that. Hello.
Yeah.
I love the stereotypical, the chick that was in there was like, ha, the whole thing was really well played.
It was so campy. That's what I was going to say a minute ago. Is all of those little things was basically set up for him. Like he almost knew he was just going to kill a couple of people in that room right off the bat, almost to show the kids, I think, like sort of what they got into. One of my favorite parts in the movie was the kids get into the room. They're drugged on the bus. They get taken to this, what looked like a classroom in some weird warehouse. All of a sudden, they're surrounded by military. Their old teacher comes in from a couple of years ago. And he basically explains, now you have to kill each other, last one survives wins. And the part that everybody's trying to process that and just having it sink in, the way they showed that, I don't think anybody could have showed that any better than the way they did.
And they used the necklace. They had this necklace on on everybody that explodes, that blows out the Adam's apple. And what was the other way? Was it stabbing or shoot somebody? They killed two people.
Oh, he threw a knife in the guy's
head. In the woman's head. Yeah, in the young girl, I guess. I guess she was talking a little too much and just whipped a knife right in her forehead.
Oh yeah.
And a couple minutes later, tests out the little shock collar.
He uses this like a TV remote control and just goes
right. Yeah.
And then
that's a universal remote that I want.
I actually like the way that they did it in the second one over the first one, because the way they introduced what's going on in the second one was a lot bloodier.
Oh yeah.
Way crazier and way bloodier.
Because you were saying earlier that you didn't feel like there was a whole lot of gore like you thought there was going to be.
No, I was expecting kind of like a gore exploitation film,
right?
or a Quentin Tarantino.
So let me ask you this: do you think that it took away from the story, or that it kind of added to sort of the eeriness of like these are 14-year-old kids killing each other?
I think it took away from the film because there was less blood. It wasn't even close to being realistic.
Yeah, well, yeah. There was a couple of parts that had their moments, like one of the first deaths when the one of the girls killed with the sickle and the knife. That was surprisingly creepy. I remember watching that the first time and just being kind of like, wow, that's. Okay.
Because, she totally played the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's what I like. Ryan's point is bringing up is that you have these different cliques that, if you're not part of it, are they really going to let you in?
Right. Everybody has their weird little strategies.
Like the Kawada guy, when he first walked up and they pull out the fan and they're like, oh, this is your weapon, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, you don't belong with us. that's kind of what Ryan's point is. There's a lot of play in there that they did with the teenage clique crowd.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different styles of...
And plus the fact, I mean, really, do you actually think that in our high school graduating class, that if we were in that situation, that we would just all of a sudden just start killing everybody, massacre style?
Oh, no. Yeah, you have friends in there. And
you know what? The person you got to worry about is all the loners. The loners wouldn't care. Everybody else probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And you know, even the loners, like I was going to say, everybody has their own little special strategies, and it really plays a lot to their age, to their gender, to who they know. It was surprising how much of, I mean, even though it's Japanese and a completely different culture, it reminded me of high school because everybody's has a crush on everybody.
Exactly.
Nobody really knows about
stories.
it. I mean, everything was really kind of playing into like, oh, okay, so how is this going to come down when people have to kill each other later on? And I think they were trying to put that moral dilemma in your head the whole time.
Yeah.
So I was going to say about. Oh, sorry.
I was going to bring up something because you were interested in this earlier. I remember you actually asking this, and I kind of mentioned like I want to know how many were out there. Mm-hmm. The weapons provided include, they don't give a number on each one.
Oh, okay.
But Uzi, submachine guns, handguns, Kama, which is a side-like weapon, the Spaz 12-gauge shotgun,
yeah,
nunchucks, taser,
right,
knife, hand axe, crossbow. And I was wrong. That wasn't actually a katana. That was a waka zazishi.
Yeah, it was a shorty.
Yeah, a shorty. Potassium cyanide.
Right. Okay. Poison. So that's what the girl had in the lighthouse.
The non-weapons. The
non-weapons. That doing pretty good, huh?
Was a megaphone, electronic collar tracer, the paper fan that I just mentioned, saucepan lid, and binoculars.
The paper fan.
I was going to say, though, that the weapon I thought that was probably the most useful in the whole entire game was the GPS. But the bloke who had it...
Completely underused.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the guy that saw, he's like, what's your weapon? He's like, GPS. That's a great weapon.
Right,
exactly.
Yeah. And he didn't actually use it the way that he should have.
Right, they should have been taking...
He should have been tracking, like, certain people, checking up on their bodies, seeing if there was any good weapon left.
Well, look, we're watching the movie together, and we're both sitting there thinking, like, well, wait for somebody to kill somebody, and then come after that. Yeah, pounce. I was thinking Vietnam traps. You know, punji sticks and things like that.
The one guy was making with the bamboo.
Right, but you know, again,
but that was really that was a really short segment. I mean, they didn't even carry that through.
Yeah. They didn't.
You know, that was, I have to say, to kind of backtrack a little, I thought there should have been at least a little more gore. I don't know. It just seemed, I don't know, I think with a pacing, I don't know, it just feels like they should have had a little bit more there.
Yeah, because it was kind of a weird pacing as far as, you know, there's something happening, and then there's this other kind of slightly less, obviously no action, just kind of character study sort of drama, what's it going to play out later, back to action, you know, quick pace kind of thing. It was basically just sort of quiet, bang, 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 quiet,
start,
bang,
go,
bang, bang,
stop,
bang.
You know, it's like... Stop, go.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird, but I think that the point of it is they weren't really trying to make this movie just a gore.
Right. No, you're right. It was about, you know, like you guys said, the cliques. I do love the fact that all the cliques seem to take each other out first.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, there was the clique of the lighthouse where they weren't really trying to kill each other.
Yeah, but, you know, really, shit happens.
Yeah.
Man.
A little bit of a snafu there. Oops, sorry, put in the wrong person.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, well, how high strung everybody. What were you going to say?
Reminds me, there's two things I noticed. Amazing. I think I saw one magazine change, right? Maybe two.
Yeah, it's
so that's like
classic.
You know, let's go back to the '80s, unlimited ammo.
Sure, absolutely.
And nobody knows proper
don't count
gun
ammunition.
Oh,
and everybody,
God.
you know, like this is the guy with the Uzi was just like.
Yeah, he was just spraying and praying.
Yeah.
Now,
by a lot.
Really limp-wristed.
Now the problem with that for me is he was actually supposed to be somebody that wanted
he was the wild card. He was the one that volunteered.
Yeah, he was like the ringer.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That was supposed to be really good in there. And then they also had the survivor who, I mean, actually was doing pretty good.
Right. Well, he was the survivor, and then there was a guy who volunteered because he was basically a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just wanted to kill people.
Right.
Yeah, and the bottomless flask he had was amazing.
Yeah, he took a lot of swigs off that thing.
Now, I'm wondering if there was sake in one of those little security sheds. Because there probably was. I mean, that's my only
Well, if there was a giant tub of rice...
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, yeah, I mean,
thing that
I'm sure they didn't have within the 3 days to, time enough to ferment the rice into wine.
Well, not that. I mean,
oh, okay. I thought you were saying he was making his own rice wine.
If he's been there before, maybe he made some and hid it away.
Yeah, maybe. Put up a moonshine still up in the corner somewhere. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, all in all, I think the movie really great. It stands on its own, like Ryan said. You don't really need to go watch the second. If you're curious enough, go ahead. It's not recommended by me. I don't know if Ryan's ever seen the second one.
No, actually I haven't.
I
enjoyed the first one too much.
I don't even have to look at John to know that he hasn't seen, because he hasn't seen this one. And
after seeing this one, I might watch the second one. I don't know. The first one, I don't know. To give it my personal rating, I guess I'd give it like a 2, maybe a 3.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy it much. I think the pacing was really weird. I understood why, and to me it felt like there was a layer missing. Something to me just seemed not to quite, something was missing for me, and I'm not quite sure what it was.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again with the pacing sort of on and off. Yeah, I can see how there's just sort of like there should be something else happening, sort of a bridge to the verses and the choruses that were going on.
Yeah, and maybe it's the fact there was nobody I wanted to hate, nobody I liked.
Yeah,
because the other thing I noticed is you're introduced to everybody very quickly. There's no build up to every individual character like most shows do, or one character they focus on. So that's another thing. I think if I watch this more, a couple of more times, maybe I'd say, okay, I like this character, I like this character. But from right off the bat, I'll give it a 3.
Okay. I'm 3 with a bullet. I enjoyed it. Yeah, 3 with binoculars. There was a bunch of reasons I like this movie. I'm pretty sure it came out as a really mainstream movie in Japan.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'm not going to call it an independent movie, even though it really rang like an American independent movie, sort of. There was just enough redeeming parts in it, I think, and that sort of kept me going. Enough of the funny parts to sort of wash some of the other sort of drama things that were going on.
I agree.
The parts that I didn't like, some of the high school drama got a little much. They started kind of going with that angle,
and with
sort of
weird
more than the other
flashbacks
things
that didn't super fit.
Right, and I think that's when they started trying to introduce you to the characters, was sort of through flashbacks, almost after they had already died. Like there was a couple of instances where you really only find out about these people after after they're dead, or during they're sleeping real quick, right?
Really
exactly, weird little dream sequences and stuff like that. Now, keep in mind, you watched a couple extra dream sequences with the director's cut, but there was still a definite handful of the stuff in the original. Enough to where you notice that's sort of like the character development that they're trying to put forward. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.
I like this movie. It was obviously my selection. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
This is probably about my 4th or 5th time watching this movie.
Sounds like he's hemming and hawing here. What was your rating?
So, anyway,
watch it. Just say 2 now.
I know.
We both like it. I've seen this movie 6 times. It's a 2.
Well, actually, I've been debating on whether or not I'm going to take it too far. But honestly, the movie, like John pointed out, is there could be a lot more development that could happen in this movie. Personally, I'm going to just stick with a 3 because of the fact that you don't get a build up in anything.
Yeah.
And then obviously the second one just didn't continue on with it. Well, if the second one was good and they followed it through on this, well, then I would probably consider a 4 off of it. But no, it's sticking with a 3 just based on the fact that there was not enough character development, that they had nowhere really to go with a sequel.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind having a third one made and follow the 2 who won.
Okay, yeah.
That would be interesting to see what they do, but I think that would either be amazing or suck out loud.
Right, yeah, not as watching another Battle Royale, maybe like them going back and seeing if they could take down the conglomeration or something like that, yeah.
And the other thing is I want to see Quentin Tarantino remake this movie.
Oh, man, that would be something that he could do something like this pretty really good justice. Yeah. But this one, as opposed to the second one, which is probably why I haven't seen it, was the first one, it's all concept.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all just like you've never seen 14-year-olds, 40 14-year-olds, or 42 14-year-olds have, be put in a situation to kill each other. I mean, you tell somebody like, hey, I'm going to let you watch a movie, and it's about these ninth graders who have to kill each other. It's a fight to the death.
Yeah.
Just based on that description alone, you're like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you ever listened to Xbox Live? That's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I mean, oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah. We won't even go there.
So, looks like our time's almost up. For myself, Jonathan Charney, James Stevens.
Movie next week before we go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What's your pick for next week?
Well, I figured I had to redeem myself a little bit from Lost Boys.
You got a lot of digging.
I got a lot of digging to do. I'm gonna have to dig stairs to get out of that hole. I picked a movie called Super. It came out. I believe it was 2010. Either late 2010 or early 2011. He's on it. It was directed by James Gunn. Kind of, sort of new in the directing game, but just really, really good storyteller. Here we go. Yeah, 2010. James Gunn. Basically, Rainn Wilson, Ellen Page, star in the movie along with Kevin Bacon. It's basically a superhero movie, and I'll leave it at that because it's not your average superhero movie, and it's just something that I think people need to experience. So I'm looking forward to you guys watching this one.
Need to experience.
Well, look, I mean,
you said the same thing about Lost Boys, so
no. I mean, if you want to experience the saxophone playing surf Nazi, that's an experience. But this one as a whole movie is actually I think we're gonna have a nice little discussion.
You be digging now, man.
Yeah. No, I will. You'll be singing a different tune after you see this movie.
Right.
I mean, look, like it or not, you know what I'm saying. However you guys feel about it, it's not Lost Boys, so it's not even in the same vein. It's independent. It was done on the mad cheap, released really, really limitedly, but those are the types of movies that are really going,
that need to be experienced.
Yeah, that need to be experienced, that are not, having being noted to death by everybody else trying to that has their hand in the pot, whether that be the producers or movie studios or whatever.
So for a quick review, I gave it a 3, James gave it a 3, and Ryan gave it a 3.
So that would be a 3.
And
first time we've actually agreed on a movie.
That's first time for everything.
Yeah.
Ever.
I know.
I've never agreed with these guys on practically anything. So for myself, Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and the strange guy who's normally in the corner, Ryan Preston.
Right over here usually.
Hi, I'm Rob Charney, Old Guy Tech TV, and I'm here to talk to you today about Windfall and the El Dorado County Fair. The largest event of El Dorado County will soon be here. Don't miss this opportunity to promote and build your business by advertising in the 2012 El Dorado County Fair Guide, published exclusively by the Windfall. The El Dorado County Fair Association is very excited to partner with Windfall again this year. Last year was such a success, we are thrilled to work with them again. The exposure that the El Dorado County Fair has in our community is amazing. We don't want you to miss it. Jody W. Gray, CEO of El Dorado County Fair, just told us this. So distributed in the Windfall and El Dorado Hills Telegraph, June 8th, 2012, and available to the public at the welcome information booths at each entrance during the fair. This user-friendly guide features a map of the fairgrounds, event, vendor locations, and includes the schedule of events. Reservations are required, space is limited, circulation is 20,000 plus copies, and the deadline is 5/25/2012. So make sure you get your ad into the Windfall today. Tell them Rob sent you.